You're going to love this. Trust me, what you're seeing now is my normal state. This is a Super Saiyan. And this is what is known as a Super Saiyan that has ascended past a Super Saiyan. Or, you could just call this a Super Saiyan 2.
Wilhelm, what a useless transformation. You've changed your hair, so what?
Just wait!
This gonna be good.
I did it! I killed him in one! I killed him, bro! Alright, let's try. Wish me luck! Got him! This is too fun. Hey, bro, get out of here. Bro, I'm getting 33 million damage. That didn't even have damage numbers, bro. That was, did I just hit a damage tab on that? Just an easy billion damage. Let's go. Did I just do that?
Yes, you did.
Oh my god. What's up, Vault Hunters? It's Echo here, Queen of the Loot Goblins, bringing you another Borderlands 3 video. In today's video, we are going Saiyan with Super Saiyan Amara. This build has evolved so much through the levels, and since we are at level cap, I wanted to bring you my updated version. This build focuses on singularity and action skill damage. I have revamped our gear since last we saw this build, as I have found new ways to do more damage. Let's get started. Feel free to pause the video now to copy down the skill tree. If you do not yet have Season Pass 2, you can take points out of the Enlightened Force tree and put them into the Brawl tree. I would suggest 4 points in One with Nature and 1 point in Guardian Angel for more survivability. Season Pass 2 for Borderlands 3 is out, and with that, we got a 4th new skill tree. Amara's 4th new skill tree is called Enlightened Force. We are utilizing Heavy Rain in the Enlightened Force tree. Heavy Rain gives Amara's weapons increased projectile speed and splash damage. Now, if you like Mallow on weapons and rocket launchers as much as me, you're going to love this skill. The projectile speed of 70% makes the plasma coil feel like it's shooting laser beams, as if it wasn't already. Not only that, our splash damage is now increased by 35%, beefing up our damage formula. Next, let's talk about the Mystical Assault tree, as we are utilizing a lot of this tree. The most important skill in our Mystical Assault tree is Do Harm. Killing an enemy grants Amara a stack of Rush. Activating her action skill consumes all Rush stacks. For every stack of Rush consumed, Amara gains increased action skill damage. The skill is very important to this build, as we are killing enemies with our action skill left and right. The next skill I want to highlight is Remnant. Remnant is very important in this build. Whenever Amara kills an enemy with a gun or action skill, she creates a homing projectile that seeks out a new enemy, dealing her action skill element damage. Any overkill damage is added to that projectile's damage. This is an excellent perk for this build because we are killing so many enemies not only with our guns but also our action skill that we are creating so many remnant balls. It is great for crowd control. The last skill that I'd like to highlight on our mystical assault tree is our capstone avatar. Amara's action skill can be activated while it's cooling down. This skill may only be used once per complete cooldown. Additionally, it increases Amara's max rush stacks by 10, and also if Amara kills an enemy with her action skill, it refunds half of her rush stacks. Activating our action skill twice comes in handy. Next up, the Fist of Elements tree. This tree is pretty self-explanatory. Here we've maxed out Tempest and Anima for some powerhouse elemental damage. And the last skill tree I'd like to talk about is our Brawl tree. In our Brawl tree, we've maxed out Personal Space, where Amara's weapon shots deal bonus damage the closer you are to a target. We've also maxed out Arms Deal for additional splash damage, 20%, and splash damage reduction by 40%. Next, we've maxed out Samsara. Samsara is a fantastic skill. Whenever Amara deals damage to an enemy with her action skill, she adds a stack of Samsara. For every stack of Samsara, Amara gains increased gun damage and health regeneration for a few seconds. We've also maxed out Helping Hands. This is another great survivability perk as it grants us damage reduction. As for our action skill augment, we are choosing Allure, and it's very important that we choose Allure because with Allure, Amara's action skill creates a singularity that pulls enemies in. And this is very important because we are trying to group enemies together so that when we cast, it hits multiple enemies at one time. We are also buffing up Allure with Ascendant, which increases our Allure radius by 100%. As for our action skill, when you're mobbing, I choose Reverberation. This is because Amara sends forward an astral projection of herself, dealing damage to everything in her path. And this astral projection deals increased damage for every enemy hit. That's also the reason that Reverberation and Allure go so great together, because Allure is sucking them up and grouping them together, and Reverberation is dealing increased damage to every enemy that's hit. As for the element, you want to choose that based on the content that you're currently engaged in. And we have access to all 4 elements now. I guess that works.
I'll get my own drinking about.
As for my guns, we are keeping to the theme of singularity and using the Plague Bearer and the Backburner. If you didn't know, the Plague Bearer and the Backburner both create a singularity effect. As for the anointments on the Plague Bearer and the Backburner, on the Backburner I did find a 250 cast Backburner, but on our Plague Bearer I did not find a 250 cast. I still have to farm for that, but I did find an action skill end, splash damage is increased by 200%. That worked just great, and the Plague Bearer is fantastic for crowd control. As you guys saw in my examples when I was doing the skills for the raid, I was phase casting and shooting the Plague Bearer, and that took care of the crowds like crazy. So it's great. It's great for CC. Next gun I want to talk about, this slot I would say use for your fun DLC mobbing situations. This is like any gun that you would like to use, and I would suggest getting a 250 cast weapon damage anointment on it. As for me, I have the plasma coil because this to me is the best in slot right now. It does the most damage. It's crazy. It used to be the flipper, but now it's definitely best in slot plasma coil. Now with this recent patch, we did get a few new anointments. One being astral projection damage is increased by 100% for phase cast and related action skills. So I use this for really cool bossing like mechanics. When I'm trying to get like an action skill kill on a boss, I use this. So the gun doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is the anointment. I wouldn't suggest mobbing with this anointment unless you're just going around having fun, simply killing enemies with your action skill, then feel free. But if you're trying to use your weapon, this is going to do nothing for your damage formula. So I would suggest always keeping that 250 cast on unless you're going around trying to be a Super Saiyan and killing enemies with your cast. And that's absolutely fine. But just be aware your damage formula will suffer for this. Alright, so moving on to the gear. I'm super excited to be using this shield in one of my builds. If you don't know about this shield, it's called the Plus Ultra, and you can find it in DLC for Kriegsmind. This shield is absolutely outrageous, and I've been wanting to use it for so long. Number one, because it has a 25% chance to absorb bullets as ammo and increases your action skill cooldown rate by 30% for several seconds. This is huge for our build because not only are you getting a damage type of reduction with the absorb, but you're also getting cooldown rate, and we're not using the phase zerker, so we're not getting that extra cooldown rate. So with this shield, it actually helps tremendously. Now the passives don't really matter, it's just going to help you on your shield. I found a recharge rate and fleet, that's just fine for me. I like the recharge rate. And for our anointment, I did find one with on action skill end, action skill cooldown rate is increased for 20% for a short time. So this shield is giving me an extra 50% cooldown rate for my action skill. Not only that, the crazy thing about this shield is that it actually doubles your health. It's crazy. Look at this. Look at our health right now. 48,000 health. And look, let me drop this. We'll just show you without it. 24,000. Insane, right? It's friggin' insane. It actually doubles your health. All right, so moving on. Along with the singularity effects, we went with the Whispering Ice. Now, there's several different singularity nades that I did try out. The Gravity Salvo nade. There was some other purple nades that had like triple singularity. But I found that the Whispering Ice is so fun to use. And the singularity is actually fantastic on it. It was actually the best singularity nade that I found. Like, the Gravity Salvo is pretty good. And the triple singularity purple nades are okay, but the Whispering Ice is just so fun. If you don't know what the Whispering Ice does, it groups them all together, and then icicles rise up from the ground, dealing damage. The anointment I got on this is Grenade Thrown because we need all the help we can get, and on Grenade Thrown is going into our V2 category, and that's just going to buff up our damage. But also another main part of the on Grenade Thrown anointment is it gives you action skill damage increase for 25% for 6 seconds. So that actually helps our build tremendously as well. Moving on to our artifact, I chose a Snowdrift pullout method. Now, I was kind of skeptical about the pullout method because when you slam, it generates a singularity effect. So we're going with that singularity again. It doesn't have much range, but it does help proc Groundbreaker. So if you're slamming into a horde of enemies, it will pull them all together and you can astral project onto them. And that is great. And also, I would recommend the Snowdrift because when you're using Phasecast, you're kind of exposed. So being able to zoom in and out with the Snowdrift actually helps so well. Alright, as you can see, I've chosen to use the Stone Comm. I love the Stone Comm, and I think it's so underrated. For those of you who aren't familiar with this comm, it's kind of like a Phase Zerker in the simple fact that it gives you max rush stacks of +5, bringing you to a total of 25 max rush stacks. Not only that, it gives us a 3% damage reduction. This is so great with the cast build because damage reduction, you're so exposed when you're using cast. So I thought this would be the perfect comm for this build. Pair this with Helping Hands and our shield that grants us absorb and double health is insane. We have so much survivability with this comm. And the main reason that we chose this comm is because I wanted to utilize the skills that are associated with this comm. This comm can come with Do Harm, Awakening, and Violent Tapestry. We are mainly looking to take full advantage of Do Harm as it increases our action skill damage. The most important passives I think you want on there is the action skill cooldown rate and action skill damage. When you're bossing, it is absolutely okay to go in with this build as is and shoot enemies with your gun and do absolutely great damage. Keep in mind, have a 250 cast anointment. If you want to do a little bit more damage with your gun, put on a Pearl and a Hunter Seeker and you'll get that consecutive hits bonus damage. You can even throw on an Elemental Projector and shoot yourself with the Sellout and get one-shot cast kills. But I'm sure after watching that sick montage in the beginning, you want to do this to your enemies. So to get crazy cast kills on bosses, we need more action skill damage. For regular gameplay and bosses with low HP, everything can stay the same. But when you're fighting bosses that have over 2 million health like Tron, we need to buff up our action skill damage. To do this, we will need the Zerker's help. Any Phase Zerker will do. The Zerker is the only comm that allows you to fake grasp and consume 99 rush stacks. The more stacks consumed, the more action skill damage you'll do harm. Do harm. Once we consume our 99 rush stacks, we will need to switch back to the stone calm for added points into do harm. Unfortunately, we can't just leave the Zerker on. We will need to switch to the stone calm with at least 2 points into do harm to pull off a successful big boy kill. Let me show you a bit of math on it. So on the card, do harm gets 5.9% action skill damage per rush stack consumed with this build. Times that by 99 stacks consumed and you're getting 584.1% increase in action skill damage. Now let's say our regular cast is doing 8 million damage. We're going to times that by 584.1% increase in action skill damage, and we're getting about 40 million damage. Now if we put back on the stone calm with +5 in do harm, we are now getting 11.7 action skill damage increase. Times that by 99 rush stacks consumed, and we're getting 1158.3% in an action skill damage increase. So now let's take our 8 million cast damage and times that by 1158.3% action skill damage increase, and we're now getting 81 million damage from our cast. Now if you want to go a step further and increase that with the anointment astral projection damage increase of 100%, now you're getting about 162 million damage per cast. That's just insane. This mechanic is not necessary. It's just if you want to get a cheeky kill on a big boss. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and learned a little something. If you have, be sure to like and comment on the video and also subscribe for more Borderlands 3 content. I'm going to leave you with this Wotan kill, and as always, happy looting. Yeah! Okay. That was a good run.
Please take a moment right now and hit that like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you want to catch these videos live, you can find me at twitch.tv/jadedecho_ or subscribe to my YouTube channel and be up to date with each video.